Okay, hello and welcome everyone into our fifth video on a series of tutorial on how to create a membership management app in Five. Now in our previous video we learned how we could have built this interface and replaced these two buttons called as approved and reject. Now in today's video we will learn how we can actually add some functionality into them. Okay, so first things first, let's go back to Five, and firstly what we would like to do is we would like to go back to our query, and now we would like to also, okay, so what we like to do here is that currently we are capturing the name, email, date and time, and we are placing these two buttons. Now we would also like to get the members key, so that can be members dot members key, and click on run. We get a detailed site over here. Let's click on save and fields, and here we see that we have added our members queue here. Okay, now let's click on save. Now let's get started with building our functions. So in order to write scripts inside Five, we simply click on logic and then code editor. Now here, in order to add a new function, we click on this plus button which says add new code. Here now what we want to do is we want to create two separate functions. One is for our approve button and another will be for our reject button. So let's start with our approve button. Let's call it approve button and click on OK. Now before actually writing this function, what I'll do is I simply click on save, and first I would attach this function to my button, and that can be done by going back to visual and back to my data views. Inside data views we click on data fields. Let's select our button. And here this time we'll go on events, and inside the on click event we'll select our function, which is approve button function, and then save, and now we're good to go. Okay, now let's go back to our code editor. Let's grab our function, and here I have some pre-written code which will I just copy and paste. Okay. Okay, let me just paste it again. Yeah. Okay, so what's basically happening here is that how Five works is that there are two types of functions. One is a client-side function, another is a server-side function. The client-side function can interact with the front end of the application, while the server-side function can interact with our databases. So okay, so currently this is a client-side function. So what we are doing is that we are getting all of the details of our front end through five.form. Basically the five.form contains all of the details of our applicants. Let's say it's name, email, and whatever we are passing inside the query, and then we are sending those variables into another function called as ApproveApplicationsServer. So now let's copy this name, ApproveApplicationsServer, and now let's make our server-side function. Let's click on OK. And now I'll just paste in some more code. Okay, so I've pasted in some code. So basically what we're doing here is that we are getting the members key, and then we are just running this simple SQL statement where we are just updating our member and changing the status from pending to approved. And here we will pass our members key through this variable, and wherever inside Five that you want to pass a variable inside an SQL query, you place a question mark. And then now we run the query through this simple function called inside our Five API through five.executeQuery. We are passing in our SQL the variable that contains our SQL statement, and also we are passing the members key. And then simply in the end we are checking for any errors, and we are good to go. Now we'll click on save, and let's click on save here again. Oh, looks like we have some error, and as you can see we have a extra curly brackets. Let's get rid of that. Let's click on save, and it says function does not exist in crib. Oh, because we have a different name. So let's change our name, approve button. Let's click on save, and we're good to go now. Okay, next thing what we like to do is let's now create a new query which shows all of the approved applicants, so that we have some ways to actually test a function. So now let's click on data and let's go back to queries. Inside query, let's create a new query. We can call it approved applicants. Let's go to SQL, and again I'm going to just paste in some very simple SQL. Okay, let's click on run, and of course we have no records because we haven't approved anyone. Let's click on save. Let's go to our fields. Okay, these are my fields. Now I have name, email, phone, date and time. Let's click on save. Let's convert this into a data view again. So data view, add item. Now let's give it a title. I'll just call it my approved applicants view. The data source is of course my approved applicants query. Let's click on data fields. Now I have all of my fields here again, and let's click on save. We go back to visual, click on menus, and now let's add our approved applicant as a menu item. So let's call it approved applicants. Let's give it a menu order of 4, and let's select our data view. Let's click on save, and now let's hit on run and see what we have. Okay, so before running, I just realized that I made a mistake, that we have specified members key here twice. So let's go back and let's correct that. Now let's click on save, and now let's run our application. Okay, let's go to pending applications. Let's click on approve. Let's go to our approved clients, and bam, we have John Doe over here. Let's go back to pending applications, and it's disappeared from here. Okay, one last change we can make is that let's close our application and let's go to our queries. Let's click on pending applications, and now let's just convert this into a live query so that next time we don't have to actually switch menus to see our changes. Okay, let's run our app again. And let's go back to pending applications, and let's click on approve again, and it goes away instantly. Let's go to approve applications, and bam, we have both of our approved applications here in front of us. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll close our app, and let's make 2 more functions for our reject button. So let's go back to code editor. Let's open both of our approved button and application servers. We'll call this one reject button, and let's click on OK. Now I'm not following the best practices here. Of course, we can of course avoid redundant functions and redundancies, just this, but of course feel free to have any form of a structure of your choice. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly copy this. Let's go to reject button. Let's paste this, and here instead of approve applications it should be reject. And now let's copy this name, and let's create a new function called as RejectApplicationsServer, and that would roughly have the exact same thing as this one. And just instead of approved, we'll select reject, and let's click on save here as well, and we go back to our data view. Let's click on data fields, and let's simply attach our function, a button function, which is reject button, to here, and now we are good to go. Okay, in today's video we learned how we can write JavaScript functions and add some functionality into our buttons. So now we can actually approve and reject our applications. And in the next video, we'll actually dive a little more deeper into this, and we'll even learn how we can write reports. So if you like today's video, make sure to like and subscribe. And until then, see you all very soon. And thank you for watching.